I'm very thankful to my party under the leadership of His Excellency, the presidential candidate William Samoei Ruto, and the team, the entire brigade of the party. You know, in a party you have the Politburo, the people who discusses politics and the planning of the future of the party, and importance of individuals within certain purview of the party. And I wish to thank that they have given me a privilege to be nominated to Parliament through this party as we go to election, and believing, because we know, we have faith, our party will perform very well. By putting me in a very strategic position, I call it strategic, but of course everybody in that list is important and strategic. Reaching that list of all the members of UDA in the country, which are in millions, I consider myself privileged. And I wish to take this opportunity to thank my party leader and the leadership for entrusting me with that opportunity to be nominated to Parliament. One, to represent persons with special needs, also to represent the party and party issues and policies and interest, and also to enhance the responsibility of my brothers and sisters elected to represent the people of Kenya in various seats by supporting the direction of the party as we work together as a team, and that I take this early opportunity to promise Kenyans that I'm bringing my experience in all the fields that qualified me to come in, and also to support the party deliver on the mandate we expect Kenyans will give to us on the 9th of August. We will be able to protect the dignity of the country and also of the party. So I'm very, very thankful, and I appeal to all members of UDA that we all work together as a team. I'm actually asking the Baringo team that in the next stretch, let us have a corporate approach in the campaign so that we are able to assist one another as members of UDA with the other affiliate parties who are working with us. The election of 2022 is a unique election since 1963, in that it is not ethnic-based election. It is not regional. It is not time for our man to eat. If you listen to the leading candidates, which of course I am affiliated to the Kenya Kwanza, you listen to our presidential candidate and our philosophy that drives the campaign is an issue-based. It is addressing a very serious economic disparity which has really affected the Western civilization, and especially after the experience of industrial revolution. How do we manage the gap between the rich and the poor? And Kenya Kwanza is coming out with what they call bottom-up system of economy, so that we minimize dependency syndrome to external factors, and encourage participation of the citizen in the creation of economy in the country. And they have adopted what they would call in economy, I'm told, proto-capitalism, proto-capitalism has three phases. One is laissez-faire, that is the free market and survival of the fittest. Then the second one is about government in just putting investment into the hands of citizens to be able to generate economy. And I think this is where our economists have come from. That we would like to cause an activity amongst the base of the pyramid. How can you make the 1% economy down there increase, which is in the hands of the larger population? How do you make everyone participate? One is by giving them credit, as our leadership is giving us, giving them credit with a lower or none interest, so that they don't serve interest for too long, but they are able to access credit that will make them participate in the economy of the country. This argument leads us to the second question, that if you allow more people in the country participate in the economy, then you are allowing more people to plow back their efforts into the revenue. They become taxpayers. Then you enjoy what they call economies of scale. Because of that, we are going to make everyone participate. The reason why I think this makes sense, and I support this, is that you are able, number one, to let the majority not to be consumers, only consumers, but they become productionists, the people who can produce like others. You are giving opportunity to Kenyans to be producers, not consumers. They consume what they produce, and therefore the rate of consumption and production are almost the same. Second, you are giving the benefit to the country that every citizen is contributing to the economy of the nation by expanding the revenue collection base. It makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. And the third point why I think this is the right formation is that with this we are able to expand the ownership of the country. The ownership. You have heard people say tunavumilia kuwa wananchi. We don't have to vumilia. We need to own the country. So it enhances that ownership. And when you spread ownership, and in modern management, they have changed the term from workers to owners of businesses. In fact, I am challenging my friend Atuoli, who talks about the champion of the workers. You know, the world has redefined that particular term, because we are not in the crude industrial time where we had the owners of the company versus the workers who became only beneficiaries of salaries and what you call allowances and so on. In modern concept of management, we no longer have workers versus owners. What we have is that we have shareholders versus stakeholders. Stakeholders, people with a stake in the generation of economy. So, and one of the principles that guides the new concept in management is by making everyone participating in the chain of production not only a beneficiary but a stakeholder. He has or she has a sense of ownership. This is what Kenya Kwanza is propagating. Number one, giving Kenyans more people who are to be more producers rather than consumers. Second is to expand the revenue base in the country so that few people are not paying taxes, but all of us are paying taxes one way or another in a very easy way. Enable us to do it because all of us have a capacity of doing the production. And the third one, as I said, is the expansion of ownership. You own the country because you benefit from the country. You own the country because you enjoy the reason of being a Kenyan. So by doing this, and this is the major issue, Kenya Kwanza is divining it in the way he's doing it. And our deputy president, who is our party leader and the presidential candidate, has a team that he assembled that has really ventilated on this matter, and the details is given in what you call the manifesto. Now, when you look at the competitors on the other hand, are not talking about something else. They are talking about pesa mashinani. They are talking about, helping the common man. They are addressing the same thing. They are defining it differently. It is a reality that we are facing. So, Komen, I am of the opinion that the election of 2022 is so unique because basically it is an issue-based election. It is an issue-based election. And I want to candidly speak to the institutions which is in charge of this process. One, the IBC. IBC must manage this election having in mind that Kenyan society are not looking up to themselves for their hope. No, they are looking to government to give them that hope. That at the end of this election, they will have elected participation in the production of economy of this country. And they are part of that. They will have elected their responsibility to expand revenue collection, to be in charge in making and supporting their own government. They will have elected ownership of the country. That this country cannot belong to few multinationals, whether they are local or international, but this country belongs to every citizen. They feel that they own it. That's what they are fighting for. And if the election is messed up, the conflict will not be between the Luos and Kalenjins, Kikuyus and Kalenjins, or any other tribe for this matter. It will not be. So I am asking my friend in charge of NCIC, my friend and brother, Reverend Kopia, by zoning areas and say these are hot spots is a misplaced concept. You are still working on the yesteryears of campaign. I want to say if this election is messed up, it will anger the citizen against the government, not people. They are not, it will not be a conflict between Gikuyus, Kalenjins, who it will be borders across, it will be these Mamambogas across, it will be everybody across. So the government must organize, provide security, provide environment in such a way that the loser will lose clean and the winner will win clean. If you go to Central Province, why they are saying you are voting Ruto is not because Ruto is a Kikuyu, neither because he's a Kalenjin. They are voting for him because of their interest. Who amongst these candidates can secure our interest? Let's face it, they are complaining that under the administration which is exiting now, they lost their properties in Kirinyaga Street and being declared as fake. They were forced that if you want to import your own importation from abroad individually. And these are people who wanted to put their efforts together in one container. You ask them to bring it separately. The government of Kenya is one. We don't have two types of government. In fact, I hear people talking about we have 47 governments. In fact, others are talking about 48 governments. That is a very naive way of interpreting. We have only one government. That's the first statement which needs to come out. We have one government in Kenya. The second thing is the characteristics of that government. They say it is a two-tier system of one government. Two-tier. So we have the national government and the county government. And this is how it is. Some functions of government are retained at national. Some functions of the same government are devolved to the county government. It is the same government, but some functions are retained at national. One of them, for example, is security. Retained. It is uniform all over the country. So we cannot have police created in the same capacity, same respect, same constitutional level at national and then in county. We can have askaris in county with limited access to the state of the national police in the country. But some functions are devolved to county government. Also, some authority is devolved, which is given to leadership, administrators, that there are things that can be decided locally without involving the national concern. And that is, so first of all, some functions are devolved of the same government. Some authorities are devolved of the same one government to county government. And functions has a policy in government, they say resources follow functions. So the same functions have been given resources to follow them. And those resources are the ones now you talk about the budget. That is why the budgetary authority is in the hands of the National Treasury. So they say of what we get in terms of 1.3 trillion or 2 trillion economy, or in our budget, this amount will go to the counties. It is the same government which is giving now the devolved functions resources so that it can work for the people down there. This same government has given authority to both the leadership at county level and given authority to the citizens under the same constitution to determine the kind of leaders who should exercise that authority on their behalf as a government at a devolved state. That is why we elect a governor, because he will be in charge of our resources. We elect a county assembly so that it will help in monitoring and oversight on the use of the same resources which have been devolved come down to where we are. So that we should have. In Baringo, we have about 30 elective areas, plus about 10 or 12 nominated slots that will balance the gender, sometimes also address some of the special groups, minorities, to be part of that authority in determining in the oversight of what the county is. So, as a national exercise, we are participating in a national exercise through an arrangement of a two-tier type of government. So the only difference between the national functions and local functions in terms of philosophy that guides the authority of the citizen is that we elect the leaders reflecting the interests at our local level, reflecting concerns at our local level, reflecting opportunities at our local level. So when we elect them, we want to have them help us exploit the resources that we have in our interest, help us manage the resources to our good, help us live in accordance to our own dreams and tastes locally. That is what the government is at the government of Kenya is at the county level. Baringo is a county of great opportunity. That's why, and that must guide us in election. We have a variety in agriculture. We can produce so much in terms of agricultural diversity in Baringo, more than any in the area, in the region. We have a hill called Tugen Hills, which pours water to the east and to the west in the same county. We are able to grow fruits. We are able to create irrigated agriculture in both sides by stopping the water from draining to Lake Ruto or Lake Turkana, and stop them and be able to do farming the big time. So in agriculture, we are able to diversify. Tourism. We have one of the largest elephants in the world in our own Kericho Valley. We have one of the eagle with the largest wings in Africa. We have one of the very interesting vulture near Todd between Elgeyo Marakwet and Tugen, the escapement of Elgeyo Marakwet. Some of the interesting snakes, lizards, birds, crocodiles. We would like to create a tourism, farm tourism in Kericho Valley, so that those who are in Kericho Valley, the government of Kenya can have a contract with the citizen there, and this citizen give up their lands on contract to the KFS under the arrangement of private sector and government sector to manage, expand the Rimoi, for example, so that instead of farming those farms, we surrender it to the farming of animals. And then the annual budget and annual income from tourism, one of the stakeholders or shareholders are citizens who have given their land to be managed, so that we minimize what we call the conflict between wildlife and people, and convert it into a resource to our people in Rimoi, expand the Rimoi to come up to, Kericho Valley River, across to the Tugen area, and then we convert it. And then these people, we move them to one side, give them proper services they require in terms of food, in terms of environment, in terms of income, and they have their income through tourism. So we can improve tourism in Baringo. And the other one is about mineral resources that we have. We make sure that the leadership that comes, that all the reservoir, the resources we have in Baringo, there is going to be a benefit. We want to understand the energy bill that Gideon proposed about energy. How is it benefiting Baringo? How do we expand that to even to the mineral exploitation of that we have in Baringo? And we have the animal industry. How do we convert our animals, which are in millions, into developing, making sure that we benefit from our animal while it is alive. We also benefit from our animal products when we slaughter them, in terms of meat, in terms of bones, in terms of hides and skin, we can be able to produce a factory that our animals can change our lives. And I say this, that Baringo is still a small population that can be managed. We are slightly below 700,000 people. We are not yet a million. We live in a square kilometer of over 12,000 kilometers square. Kenyans, in this part of the world, occupies about 60 square kilometer, of an acre. So it means we still have enough land that can support our people if we can put agriculture on it. Finally, a great opportunity in the people of Baringo. The Baringo people are very resilient people. Put a Tugen anywhere in Kenya and you will see a difference. Give him management and you will see a difference. Very resilient. We only require leadership. So that political leadership in Baringo must elect exploitation and proper use of our potential as a community. I wish to say this through this media and with that we are going to elect our leaders. Majority of the people of Baringo, majority of the people of Baringo, over 90%, belong to the formation of politics in this country of Kenya Kwanza. To be specific, they are UDA affiliated party. And therefore, out of 30 elective areas, UDA might control over 20 of those, which is about 75%. About 3 or so might staggeringly be a contested area. So that means majority parliament or county assembly will be controlled by UDA. Or by extension, Kenya Kwanza, because some of the candidates might come from some of the Kenya Kwanza affiliate parties. For you to run a county like Baringo, you must have a governor who will work in symbiotic relations with the county assembly for that particular governor to be able to execute his vision. Because the oversighter, which is now the parliament, can either choke the administrative opportunity of a governor. So I would, as an elder, advise the electorate that don't elect controversy into the county assembly. Don't elect an opportunity of dispute and lost opportunities because of court cases, impeachment. Like, for example, I listened to one of the candidates of the governors in governor candidates in Baringo as they gave their views. I got concerned about one area where you come to gubernatorial seat with a controversial policy that will bring you into coalition with the county assembly. Now, really, as an electorate, how can you elect conflict there? Because if you are coming in and say, I'm going to deny, I'm going to curtail some allowances which is allowed in law to the members of county assembly, that they are allowed to travel and given by law, and it is within the budget, the national budget given by the national treasury, and it is allocated by Commission of Revenue Authority and given to them by law. When you come, and possibly you may not have to marshal the number of MCAs that will support your concept, because you are not within the main and majority one, then you will be there alone. And and I'm sure all the parties will unite, even those in opposition will unite in this one, because it's a constitutional provision. Think comment for one, for BBI, for example, to be passed by county assemblies, the president had to appease the MCAs by giving them a grant for cars. You remember that? They twisted the head of state. You as a governor, who are you? They will go for you. They will impeach you. If they don't succeed, because you might go to court and suspend their impeachment, they will frustrate your budget. For 5 years, you will not serve us. You will not even serve yourself, and you cannot even share your vision. So I'm advising the electorate to choose between confusion for the next 5 years or choose candidates or a candidate that is going to, although we will have problems, that means, we are not taking the oversight role of parliament or county assembly from oversighting the executive, and really even a member of UDA can be impeached if you mess up with a kind. But it is easy to manage it when you are working together along to the same direction. So it is on this that, in my view, Baringo, for example, should choose unity, should choose harmony, should choose one that will bring people together. We are a cosmopolitan county, and we need to work together. So as we go to election on the 9th of August, I am making an appeal to my brothers and sisters in Baringo. Choose harmony in terms of leadership. Choose innovation in terms of leadership. Choose security in terms of leaders who are focused in bringing that item to the table and be a part of the conversation. And be bold. Don't fear. Just choose. Choose a government that makes sense. In Baringo County, don't choose a government that does not make sense. I repeat, in Baringo, choose a government, a county government that makes sense. Makes sense in that its argument and leadership will benefit the people of Baringo, instead of choosing controversy. This is what I mean, that don't build your house on a foundation that tilts, that is tilted. By the time you are at top there, it will fall. We want to choose leadership that will address the issues of Baringo, which are local to us. One of them are some of the impediments in Baringo, which affects our production, it affects our plans, and even disturbs our peace. And that is the insecurity menace, gravitating around 3 constituencies in this particular county: Tiati, Baringo North, and Baringo South. We are also bordering other counties like Elgeyo Marakwet, Turkana, West Pokot, Samburu, Laikipia, and Nyandarua for to some large extent. It is disturbed area. We want leaders that we elect into office are the ones who must be bold enough to face the issue of insecurity. Because the answer of insecurity in Baringo does not lie in the disarmament of these simple boys who are running with AK-47. The answer to Baringo menace is a political goodwill. Political goodwill. And the culprit of this are at local level and at national level. People are interested in the resources in these regions. Areas of northern Kenya are areas which is rich with a lot of resources common. We have oil reservoirs. Multinationals are interested in it. Some of them got local partners. and others are controlled by foreign powers. It has minerals. It has geothermal. It has so many of the resources under the soil, more than few cows. Sinyo ko moisot pi ngatategap tuga to tigin mingejin chinuwagarengani tetan na mechita genga gotono ko ignotan ne yabi ko meyo. No, there is wealth under the soil which you cannot achieve unless you disturb the residents there, so that they cannot claim that right. They will in a perpetual war and fight as clever people under some multinationals are exploiting the geothermal power, they are exploiting oil. I want you to hear that. I owe no one an apology to say this. So the issue of insecurity in Baringo must be given to people who are willing politically to solve the problem. And therefore, we as a party have provided candidates that we believe they can bring the solution. Some of them have been victims of this. We must hold them accountable. The whole reason why Chief Tumo was given the opportunity in Baringo to fight for the senatorial seat, he comes from that area. We are asking him, Mr. Chief Tumo, how painful is this pain? And what do you think in your mind can be a solution? The reason why the kind of candidates have been chosen under this party by the party affiliate, they believe that these are people who knows. We hope so. We will hold them accountable. After 5 years, we as a party, we will relook at again and say, did we succeed or we didn't succeed? Therefore, we would like to have a governor, we would like to have a women rep, we would like to have a senator who shares in the concern of insecurity in Baringo. Institution of managing the election of IEBC, number one, they must be aware, Mr. Chebukati and your team, you must be aware that this election is a high-stake election. It is a transitional, a world generational transitional election. Second, the government of Kenya is morally bound, legally bound, to create an environment within which this election will be carried out void of any personal interest in it. So appealing to His Excellency the President that let him manage and become the face of government, notwithstanding his interest which he has declared, let him not really overstate it, because it has, Kenyans have known it, and let him guide the process in a manner that will be seen to be neutral, that the government will be neutral arbiter in the process. Therefore, members of security personnel must not be seen to be partisan. Civil service must be neutral. And then these servants, civil servants, some of them lack some basic training in managing state and statehood. In this situation, I'm appealing to those who are in charge of management of the country, security factors, not to make Kenyans feel like their hope is going to be subverted. They must show it, that the government means well. What will they lose if any of the parties win? What will government win? Government is a principle that is on perpetuity. It has no beginning, has no end. It will end in the end of time. What comes in every interval is just regimes that changes, but government remains. And I appeal to Kenyans that on the 9th of August, you don't know winning of an election if you have not voted. So every Kenyan participate in voting. come out very early and vote.